YouTube, what it do? It is your boy Young Soros here, back with another video. And in today's video, the stock market reacted to CPI, and the CPI was crazy. Not only that, but even though the stock market reacted to CPI, the events are still not over. You have China tomorrow, Europe, their rate decisions, and then you got more data coming into tomorrow and Friday. So, guys, drop a like down below if you want to see more. Let's jump right into it, starting with the market reaction. It was not as scary or doomsday as most people predicted. I predicted CPI would go up, and even though it did, core inflation dropped. Now, I know what you're thinking. What is core inflation? I'm glad that you asked. Core inflation is basically the inflation rate excluding volatility items like food and energy, and that actually dropped. And that is the first time it has dropped like this in a while, especially if headline is coming up. Now, headline coming up is not a good thing for inflation. Don't get it twisted, but seeing core go down is better than not, and that is why we had this mixed reaction on the SPY, barely moving. 0.12 dollar barely moved. The bonds barely moved. Oil barely moved. Nothing moved today, even though today was a big day in this grand scheme of things. Nothing moved today, and why is that? Because they're all preparing for the next events, which is going to be China, Europe, and then more data coming into it. So, the market could have reacted to this data and been bad, but they took a glass half full approach and they decided that, even though inflation's rising again, core inflation dropped. So they're happy with it for now, but we got to see what the PPI is going to be coming into it. On top of that, we also have to be on the lookout for how China's data is going to look, the unemployment rate for them, as well as what Europe is going to do. Now, guys, Europe, if they decide to keep raising rates or pause, the dollar is going to jump. So be on the lookout for the dollar. This is a make or break moment for here. If excuse me, but if Europe decides if they want to go either way, the dollar can easily jump back all the way to the all-time highs of last year. And once that happens, you start the dollar wrecking ball again with the SPY, the bonds, and then the oil, all of it. So keep a lookout for that. But not only that, even if you get Europe reacting and all this sort of stuff, you still have to worry about China. How is their economy doing? What does it look like for them? What is going on with all of that? So keep that in mind when you guys are, reading these charts and looking at all the data and stuff like that. There is a lot of data this week. That's why I haven't been posting as much. I just wanted to get the consensus as to what is going on, figure out the game plan moving forward. I haven't made any plays yet either because nothing is really moving, but everything is at a breaking point. As you can see, bonds near the lows, yields near the highs, oil is starting to break out, dollar is starting to break out, and the SPY is in this balance range. So it's really hard to play these spots right here. Moving forward, if we go to the economic calendar, as you can see here, inflation rose 3.7%, going back up to 4. But if you take a look at core inflation dropped. So this could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you want to go about it, because now, even though inflation is going higher and core is dropping, what if core decides to pick back up next month? That will only put pressure on the inflation rate itself, and you have to remember it is a lagging indicator, so it may not even be factoring in the rise in oil that we had in the second year. So keep that all in mind. That is why we had a subdued reaction to the stock market once again. But if we go look back at the stock market, nothing moved. Nothing moved. So everything is on thin ice right now. it's all about Europe and China going into it. Ford, I'm still holding the Ford shares. I'm still looking at those, but then I don't want to double dip. Take a look at Ford real quick. Show you guys. Ford, had a little explosion today, but keep in mind, you know, anything can happen. I'm still waiting for Ford to break out of this range once China's news comes out and all this sort of stuff. But then again, they had a massive run up coming into here, so we really got to keep in mind coming into September. September is usually one of the worst months for the stock market. So even though they had this run up at the beginning of September, it could all go bad going into exiting September, entering October, as you have options expirations coming up, quad witching coming up, Jerome Powell. There's so many things, guys, and the market is in this balance range. Be careful here. This is a make or break moment. Now, am I saying the SPY can easily go back to all-time highs within the next 2 months? No. I think the SPY has room to drop further, and with the government shutdown coming up, that is definitely going to rattle things within the stock market. Now, bear in mind, government shutdowns really don't do much, but like the stock market, it does not like uncertainty. So if they decide to be closed for a week, 2 weeks, going into 3 weeks, you are going to start having issues, and you are going to watch people start basically falling to the wayside. Might even go back to treasuries once again, but it all depends on what is going on. There is a lot of things moving. There's a lot of turning parts, so you got to stay nimble and you got to stay vigilant and be on the lookout, because just because this thing is moving the needle, that doesn't mean the needle is going to move yet. Does that make sense? So you got to keep in mind, you got to read the plays. I'm actually up on my Ford shares, but I want to buy in more as they go lower. And if they go in lower, I'm going to short once they break out of this balance range. And if they break $10, then hey, that is bargain bin right there. But that is it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be back Friday or Thursday, depending on how crazy the market gets. Let's go, baby. If you like what you guys see, drop a like down below, comment, and subscribe for more. It is your boy, Young Soros, out.